Well, guys, we're busting a gut to make a new episode of Two Whatever's Way Up.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we jumped into a theater and came out screaming that we had to talk about the movie, but god damn it, sci-fi's back.
Yeah, or screaming that the theater experience was absolutely wretched.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, I need to hear all the juicy details before we jump into this. We're talking about The Creator by Gareth Edwards. I went to the movie theater all by myself. I'm going to put the TikTok out later today. I was talking the whole way through the movie because I was alone in the theater.
You were
Jesse,
alone in the theater? I was not.
Yeah, I was lucky. You
had the
Jesse,
good experience.
what happened? I got to know what happened.
It was like a half-pack theater, so I went to see this last night, right after we recorded for Chappie. And I was like, I'm going to go see this. And first off, I walked in to get my ticket. And there was a bunch of like parents with like 4 and 5-year-old kids, and I was like, "Oh God, please, I'll be in my theater. Please, I'll be in my theater. Please, I'll be in my theater." Because they were just like letting them run around. It was like, this
oh no,
shitty fucking parents. And thank God they were not in my theater. I was like, "Thank you, I got a break." But then I get into the theater and I'm watching the movie, and we're like a half hour in, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like super into it. And the woman that was next to me with her husband, she was like diddling on her phone the whole movie. So the light of her screen was right in my fucking face.
Oh.
There was a bunch of people that were up to my right that was like 3 people, and they were like teenagers or some shit, and they were just not into it, and they were just like chatting the whole movie. And then there was a bunch of people that was like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or maybe like a date couple up to my left. And they were chatting the whole time, clearly not even interested in the movie at all. And I'm just like, oh God, what? Why are you here if you're not gonna watch this? If you're not into it, just leave. Leave and go get a refund. Just say, yeah, you're not into it. Just you're not being held there by gunpoint. Just leave. Okay, and so finally, the 3 people that were up to my right, like 20 minutes before the movie ends, when they get on top of the Nomad, they're like, "Do you want to leave?" "Yeah, let's leave." Like, you've made it past the 90% mark. Just hold out, guys.
It's not like it's excrucigating long either. It's
2
hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, even then, it feels like it's paced very, very well. I was into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and then the woman that was next to me on her phone, she would occasionally look up her phone and be like, "Wow, that's a really big ship," and then go back to her phone. And I'm like, "What? Why are you here?
She got this much out of the movie.
Why are you here? Like, what is the point? You people are fucking pigs. Okay? You fucking scumbags. I hate it. This was, I typically was just like, I don't want to go to a theater because I always have a bad experience. Sure. And I was like, I'm going to brave it for this one. This sealed it for me. I'm not going to the movies anymore. Unless it's Alamo Drafthouse, where if you make one bit of noise, they boot your ass out. I'm not going. I can't do it.
That makes sense.
It's a waste of money. I didn't get everything out of the movie. I got to go watch it again. I got enough out of it to talk about it, but I want to go have the full experience.
Yeah.
I would rather just pay the extra money to watch it at home in the comfort of my own house where it's nice and quiet. I don't want to deal with fucking imbeciles chittering and chatting the whole time. Why would you go to a movie theater to talk? You're there to be in a black void and watch a film and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Stop it.
It's so crazy to me. Like, maybe we need to change what our, like, pre-movie previews are like. Maybe it's too kitsch for people to see the, hey, welcome to Regal. Don't be on your phone. Snacks are, like, I feel like people aren't listening anymore. That's not a suggestion. Like, that's not.
It is a, shut up. Stop it. I'm of the opinion that they should have, an enforcer at the bottom of the stairs in the movie theater, where if they see somebody diddling on their phone, they go up and they pull them out of the theater.
Yeah,
I am of that opinion. Like, this is supposed to be a quiet, respectful environment. If you can't do that, get the fuck out. Get out. Leave.
The way comedy shows are doing it now, you get your phone put in a lock bag.
Yeah,
and you get the key after the show.
Same should be done for theaters. I'm of the opinion. If I ever settle into retirement at some point and I want to venture into some business, I'll open a movie theater and that will be the draw. You walk in, your phone is taken away. If you talk at all, you are escorted out of the theater and you're banned for life.
Movies with bouncers. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they already serve alcohol at most theaters anyway, so it's like it's probably about time.
Yeah. Not in Maryland. Can't do that in Maryland.
Well, Maryland has weird liquor laws, and that's why I left.
Thanks,
for the
I hate
liquor
it.
laws.
Thanks, I hate it. I hate it. It sucks. That's the one thing I don't like.
Right. Well, let's. Yeah. For anyone watching, if you're gonna brave the theater, please, oh my God,
go to Alamo. Just go to Alamo. They will enforce it. Plus, you can get dinner there. I love that.
Yeah, Dude, that is nice. And the like the way it's set up, if nobody's ever been to an Alamo, they have these like you have a table in front of you,
Yeah.
and then there's a gap between you and the next row. So the waiter like comes up almost below the screen for you.
They're not going to block you.
Yeah, so you get to like keep watching the movie, and then you like pass them a note with what you want out of the consent.
It's nice
dude,
and quiet.
It's dope.
It's great.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Alamo Drafthouse, go see their stuff. There's also small independent theaters like E Street Theater in DC. They're also very quiet and respectful. Yeah, they very much encourage shut up, do not talk, or we will block you from coming back into this theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out here in Portland, we have one like E Street. It's not quite as like underground and cool, but it's where the big IMAX is, and they have.
That's one of the things that they like about E Street is that they put it underground. That way, your cell phone internet is blocked.
Yeah,
they specifically did that. They specifically put it underground, so that way, oh, you want to go on your phone? No, you don't have internet access.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
That's not what this is for right now, guys. Oh my God. Well, with that bit of business out of the way, let's jump into the creator.
Oh, this movie's so good.
It's been a hot minute since we got to like sit and just be happy about movies, but
especially
goddamn Gareth Edwards,
a very timely one too, because what the film is about.
Yeah. And his movies have stayed topical, I think, overall. Like Godzilla's probably his biggest departure. Even Rogue One was like, hey dudes, let's do like grown up shit in Star Wars. Like he at least did something in Star Wars, right?
Yeah, he did a Vietnam movie, kind of. And then this is also kind of a Vietnam movie, although much more overtly a Vietnam film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, dude, what is this checking boxes for you for? For me, I feel like it's like original IP, not based on anything else that I know about.
Thank God.
Just like what a who's who cast of people that are crushing in Hollywood right now, taking the job really serious as actors. These aren't like I think there's a couple Marvel people in here, but these are your kind of outside Marvel types. You know, they're not like locked into these 10-year contracts.
Gemma Chan is in this movie as one of the leads, but she was a character that wasn't she in Eternals? Wasn't that what she was in?
Yeah, she's in like the Legacy MCU movie.
Yeah, the one that everyone forgot about. I'm sure they're gonna clean up that thing in the ocean real soon, won't they?
Right. No, I'm.
Thank you, Marvel, for abandoning that plot line.
Right. I mean, nobody cares. It's not like it's in the way of any shipping lanes, right? Wait a second.
Dead in the middle of the Pacific.
Right.
But also big plus, less than $100 million budget. Just thank you. Every dollar is literally on the fucking screen. It looks amazing.
The budget is oddly the reason that I saw it, not directly the 80 million aspect, but my TikTok is full of the production TikToks.
Yeah.
I guess they had a social media person on site.
Yeah.
Because they've been cutting together these amazing behind the scenes, like, hey, look, they shot this thing on a $4,000 camera.
I saw that one. Yeah. This is a cheap movie overall. Like the camera you can rent for this thing costs $100 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Greg Fraser, who is one of the best cinematographers working right now. Like, it's incredible. It's incredible what they pulled off. Like, I'm looking at this thing and like the CGI, you don't even notice it.
Right.
You never notice it. It's so perfectly blended with this filming style. I'm in awe of this thing, dude.
Yeah. I mean, like, and the camera moves around too. Like, I was surprised when I saw that TikTok. I was like, oh, let me go see this thing. I bet it's gonna be like a borderline found footage war movie where we're like strapped to the main character for 2 hours. And I was into that. I was into that idea. And then I got to the theater, and the first shot of the Nomad, I was like, oh, I'm in for something different, aren't I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that Neil Blomkamp wishes he could have made.
Oh, yeah. This has like every marking of his version of
but
what,
done
like
better.
Oh, yeah. Every aspect over the top better. John David Washington is a killer lead. Like, he is as well honed, I think, as his dad was back in the 80s and 90s. Just an absolute that he can go from, in this movie specifically, a character that is essentially misguided war vet that turns into a monk, essentially.
Yeah.
oh my God, what an arc for him to be able to display. And it's not kitsch. It's not cute. It's not goofy Steven Spielberg. Like, this is heavy shit.
Yeah. It's very well honed. And a lot of the critical reviews of this, it's just like a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. Fuck you. It's way better than that. People just didn't get it. They just didn't get it.
Did they not get it, or is this objectively anti-American?
Oh, yes, there is that.
Nobody wants to see it.
We'll get to that, but also,
Yeah.
I think that the big thing is that the film is meant to. It is a simple story told well. You have seen this story before.
Absolutely,
It's Avatar. It's Dances with Wolves. It is that story, but it's done so much better and so much cheaper, and it's still as effective. So, like, the budget for Avatar is like, what was it, like $300 million some odd dollars?
Oh my Christ! I don't even want to know. I can't even look at that.
Yeah, and I look at that and I'm just like, all for this for what? You know, for what point? To say like, oh, the Americans are the bad guys. Like, yeah, but you're not really making a point about it, and you're not really making it relatable enough. This does does Cameron's shit better and cheaper.
I think James Cameron wants to talk about broad topical issues with cartoons.
Yeah,
and like that's what the Na'vi, like. I'm not being moved to tears by their facial capture. I'm sorry. Let's not.
No,
he's
weird.
A technician. He's got good technical acumen, but he wants to make cartoons about outer space. The Creator is a movie about our future.
Yeah.
Like, it is intentionally trying to go, no, this is what the world could look like in 2060. I don't think it's exactly what it's going to look like. As we've learned, all the movies set in the 2020s that we're living through now, it's like, it's not exactly that. I doubt if we have autonomous, sentient robot people in the 2060s.
Yeah.
But we could be getting close to that. That might be where the conversation's at by then.
Yeah. Was it weird? I felt more for Ken Watanabe, his character Haroon. I felt more sympathy for his AI robot partner when he got killed by the tracking device, and he's like, I can't run into that hut. There's kids in there, so he runs the opposite direction just to save them. Was it weird that I felt more for him because he doesn't even have a face?
Dude, like
every character got development, like it's like you're supposed to do.
That's what this movie does to you. It makes you look at human death and go, wow, like, this is what happens to people who won't open their hearts up to love other things.
Yeah.
And then it shows you apocalyptic robot death and says, these are people, and we're going to treat it that way.
Yeah. And the big twist that I knew the twist was coming. By the way, we're going to spoil the whole movie. So
yeah,
but we have to. The big twist that Watanabe says is that, did you realize that the nuclear detonation over Los Angeles was actually a coding error and they blamed it on us?
Yeah.
It was an American fuck-up. Americans bombed their own territory by accident, wiped out millions of people, and they said, well, we need a scapegoat now. We need a straw man.
Well, and that's why specifically I think some people are picking this up as a Iraq War movie and not specifically a Vietnam movie.
It's a Vietnam movie. Yeah,
I agree it is much more Vietnam coded, but particularly the LA nuke being turned into a reason to go to war. That is 9/11 turning into the Iraq War.
Yeah.
Like that, the idea that we are going in to save our people from eradication, and it's like
the AI aren't attacking. They're not doing anything. Yeah.
Every
Iraq never attacked us. It wasn't us. It was a small band of people in Saudi Arabia. Wrong fucking country.
That we had armed.
Yes, that we armed, and they asked us, get your bases out of our country. Please stop invading our land, and we wouldn't do it, so they attacked.
Right. Like and I get it's probably hard to watch a movie that like sets out from the first scenes to say the Americans are the bad guys.
Yeah.
You need to accept that for the story to work. The Americans are the bad guys here, because that's the character arc for our hero. The movie doesn't ask you to jump on board with it initially as like your feeling, but you need to be on board with it by the end of the movie, because that's where our main character he's led off to say, wow, the Americans were the bad guys in this. I was part of that. I need to stop that.
Yeah. Then there's also the issue of the fact that AI is being used to replace human jobs, to replace human facial features. You can sell off your own likeness to corporations and use it as a means of making money off of your appearance. Like,
income.
It's what's happening now with this. This is the kind of movie you release during a strike regarding AI. This is the kind of movie where it's straight attacking, because America is the only country that's doing this with its actors. I don't think any other country is doing this with its actors. Maybe like China is doing it a little bit, but not to the extent that we want to do it.
I know. So I know for sure, like Germany and Japan are, because I don't know if you've seen, Bruce Willis does international commercials now.
Oh yeah, well that's because of his health issues. He can't work anymore, so he sells off his likeness to make money for his health problems.
But that's he was like the instart of, oh hey, big celebrities can do this, so other people, like Jean-Claude Van Damme does commercials that he's not in.
Oh Jesus! Well, that kind of makes sense.
You know, like that's the new that is, we're already there. Like the movie's not talking about sci-fi in that aspect. That's here.
Jeez. Wow.
I think the most sci-fi aspect of this movie is the way that it asks us to assume digital sentience is as valuable as human life. Like the reason human life is valuable is because of sentience. Therefore, AI is sentient and it must be as valuable.
Yeah.
That's the biggest sci-fi leap, I think, in the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, even the fact that the machines, the AI machines, they behave almost exactly like ordinary people. Like
they are functionally ordinary people.
Yeah, they smoke, they drink, they eat food. Like they need to they need to sleep at certain points. Like they behave just like ordinary people. There's
they're
almost
not
no difference.
Super intelligences. That's the real main.
Yeah.
That's and
they're
I
not
think that's
Ultron.
How you
they're not Ultron.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not whatever that thing was that attacked Tom Cruise in Oblivion. You know, like it's not
the Tet. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love super intelligent AI in my sci-fi. Don't get me wrong. I think that it makes a great aspect. But I love specifically the creator said, no, that's not us. AI sentience will just be new human souls coming into our world in a non-biological way.
Yeah.
And that is such a great sci-fi premise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't think of any other story that actually does that appropriately. Maybe like we were talking about this with Chappie the other night. We talked about a little bit Steven Spielberg's AI. Maybe a little bit like that. Maybe a little bit like, oh, that's much more sappy and corny, and that's just a much bigger story because it spans thousands of years, and it's it's basically a metaphor for Pinocchio, which is fine. That's the story you want to tell, but that's not this story. This is a military Vietnam story with AI machines as the victims of the oppression.
Yeah. And I think AI specifically is like sci-fi surrealism. It's not aiming to be like, this is what the world will look like. This is a big, like, hyped, like they have a gladiator arena. We don't have those anymore, like, at all.
No, that's ridiculous.
So like, that's a surrealism version that's like fun for Hollywood at the time. I think we've kind of moved into this more like realism aspect and damn, it executes. Especially in this case. You said it already, and I was saying it in the TikTok video. I can't see the CGI anymore, dude.
It blends so perfectly. Like I could not. There are moments where I'm just like, is that just a guy in a robot suit? It's like, no, it's a CGI character. It's
right.
It blends so perfect. This will get multiple nominations for visual effects. Sound editing for sure. Holy shit, the sound is incredible. Like the little whirs and beeps of all the machines around them, just like it's so just interesting to listen to. Yeah.
This feels like they learned a ton working with Lucasfilm, and then like they've hit a bunch in a little bag, and they ran out with the bag, and they were like, "All right, guys, let's go make some fucking cool sci-fi."
They stole some really good sound bits that they just rejected from the new Star Wars movies.
Dude, how much you want to bet some of this is rejected Star Wars shit? How much you want to bet some of the like robot helmets are just stuff that he made for Rogue One they didn't get to use?
I mean, probably. I mean, there's times when it looks like, what's that character from the Solo movie? Was it L337?
Yeah.
Yeah, the most annoying character in all of Star Wars history. Yeah, but it feels like that. It even kind of feels like that character is like that storyline, the robots rising up against the oppressors. It's like, that's kind of the story of this.
Oh, yeah.
But this is done way better than that bullshit.
Well, that's like an afterthought shoved into what would have been a Han Solo comedy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that was one of their bits. I'll put it that way.
We got to do something with this character other than make them annoying.
Right. So let's kind of break down the plot here a little bit. So we follow post the nuke that we mentioned. We follow Joshua, our main character, who was working undercover, got very, very close to the center of the AI resistance that is centered in the world has splintered into two halves. There's America and there's New Asia.
Yeah.
I love that very reflexive attitude about Americans, because Gareth Edward is not American, right? He's like British or Canadian,
I believe. I want to say he's Canadian. Let me check that.
British. He's a British filmmaker.
Okay. So he's a non-American filmmaker commenting on America, which is kind of like what Paul Verhoeven did with talking about America with RoboCop and Total Recall and all that. It's like, a non-American talking about America is like, you are the aggressors. We see you.
That's exactly how so many Americans see the world, is America and not America, and not America and France and the UK and China and all these independent countries that are as intellectually, technologically, socially, morally advanced as we are. They see it as America and not America. So the movie goes, that's you. That sounds exactly like fucking you, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I the one thing I will say, if you want to make the Americans seem like the bad guys, the guy that's the general, when the moment he started talking, I was like, I know that voice. And I looked up. It's the dad from The Witch.
From The Witch.
It's the same guy. I was
Ralph
like,
Ineson.
It's like, if you want to cast your lead villain, perfect. That's the guy. Having a voice that sounds like molten lava running across your vocal cords.
It's literally Satan sending you on an assignment. You know what I mean? Hey, we need you to go murder a child in another country. Do you accept the mission? No, I don't. Well, you have to, because your wife's alive.
Yeah. Bullshit. Yeah. And also, did you catch the twist that the child was kind of a copy of his unborn child? Did you catch that twist halfway through?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is, I think, some of the tightest aspect of this film is the way that it could have exploded at the end with plot, with explanation, with like over the topness, and instead everything simplifies. The villain that we've been looking for, Nirmata, was his wife. And like, if you're slick, you probably figured that out early on. When she pulls a gun on him in the house, it's like, oh yeah, that's not something that your wife just does. She's way more involved in this. Yeah. And as you start to discover, like, it starts to make sense that of course it was his wife. And then as you realize that his arc is having to adopt a child after he believed he lost one, only to find out it actually is his child. Yeah. So he's lost everything. He gets all of it back and then has to recenter himself away from it because he can't keep it if he wants the world to change for good. How that is the hero's journey, just perfectly executed out. Yeah. Returning home having changed. That's the last sentence of the hero's journey. And like, do I recall correctly? He dies at the end, right?
Yeah, they're on top of they're in the Nomad, and they reconnect right as the ship is blowing up. Which, by the way, as far as a set piece to end your movie, holy shit, dude. That was amazing.
Whoa. When he was like hanging on to rockets outside of the Nomad, I was like, oh, we just went into like big budget territory. Like that's Spielberg. That's straight up Spielberg shit right there.
Yeah. And it's still only $80 million. By today's standards, it's cheap as dirt.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same budget of what, John Wick Chapter 3, I think. It's not that much more expensive than most, mid-tier movies these days, adjusted for inflation.
That's one of the things I saw him talking about in his interview. He was like, we decided to make big cuts around like legacy stuff, like red cameras and things like that, and in exchange for shooting in these super cheap countries that have like big tax benefits for shooting, we got to shoot in Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, and like just lists all these places that he got to take a small crew to, because it's a small shooting crew overall.
Yeah,
it's your dolly op.
The credits are quick.
Yeah, the credits go by.
Most of this is post-production shit.
Right. The credits go by so quick because it's like your boom operators, your dolly guys, your so many of the effects are CGI but added in that David Fincher realism way instead of the let me show you how good the CGI is now. Let me show you how unnoticeable it is.
Yeah, it's the opposite of any Marvel project now. Where Marvel just
Right.
like what was the budget of Ant-Man 3? Was it like 200 million, some shit like that? And it looks like dog shit.
Well, and this is the stuff. Dude, I could pound my fist over this. This is shit Marvel used to tell us to care about. Do
Yeah.
you remember the marketing for Doctor Strange and them talking about, we went to Nepal, we went to like all these real world locations for
Yep.
Doctor Strange, and then like 10% of the movie is those places, and the other 80% is green screen set pieces?
Yeah, it's a waste. It's like, what the fuck's the point? Like, what? Why should I care? Like, what?
Right.
What is the point? Yeah, like Marvel used to give a shit about like quality filmmaking. Go back to that first phase. While it's kind of messy overall, it's like it's real filmmaking. Now it's
Right.
like, oh fuck it, green screen. Because I saw the preview for the Marvels right before this movie started.
Oh, God.
Yeah, every one of these movies starts with all the MCU or DCU stuff now, and so I saw that, and I saw Aquaman 2's trailer, and it was like being beaten over the head with a club. And it was like, what is this dog shit I'm looking at? Like, Captain Marvel's hair is CGI. It's like the hair. Like, come on,
Right.
this is a waste, guys. Every dollar is on screen in the creator. Everything. Like the best scene, I will say, when the U.S. Army, literally just the U.S. Army, is attacking, and they land at the Buddhist monastery, and the military just march out of the ship, and there's the two Buddhist monks that walk up to them. They just gun them down. They don't even try to communicate with them. It's like, yeah, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way. We don't want you. Get out of the way. It's a Vietnam movie right there. That is straight up Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just keep plowing through, and then they have the literal suicide bombers.
Dude.
That was so creative and so. I had like, wow, they just created AI characters just to die.
Yeah.
For the Americans.
That aspect, the
and there's the one that's
horror.
just like there's that one where it's like, thank you, it's been a pleasure serving you, and they don't even care. Just go, we don't even care. It's like they just don't give a shit. It's great.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
my God.
The techno horror in this movie is I've not seen techno horror in a minute, and I'm missing it now because I brought it up on the Chappie episode, and now we can go into it a little more in depth because now you know how the movie ends.
Yeah.
There's a scene where one of Joshua's guys has been hit, and they're dragging his body along, and he's about to die, right? So they leave him behind in a car for the army to find. And the army's like, oh, he's been dead too long. We're only going to get a 30-second image. And they're putting this halo on his head. And in my head, they're going, I think they're going to like rewatch a replay of the end of his life. And I'm like, oh, that's cool technology. That's not what happens.
They resurrect him.
They resurrect him with full knowledge that he's dead.
Yeah, after implanting him into a Synthient's body, so he looks over and sees his own corpse. That's so fucked.
Sees his own corpse.
Having an existential crisis while also having to give them information about what the fuck happened. You have 30 seconds to do it.
And it's worse than that, because think about that soldier and the way he feels about AI just woke up in an AI body.
Yep.
Imagine being a racist and waking up a different race. Like, that is some existential shit. And then the movie doubles down on it and goes, oh, guess how this bitch is going to end, too? Oh, yeah, that technology's coming back, baby. Joshua reawakens his own dead wife.
Well, he didn't do it. The kid did it.
Okay, yeah. He got the kid there to do it, you know?
Yeah. That would have been really fucked up, though, because she doesn't know what's happened the last 5 years, so she reawakens, like, on this ship, and then they just die immediately.
Yeah.
I did kind of chuckle. I was like, wow, did you realize you're about to die? You just woke up, and you're about to die again.
Dude, that's like, he had to outdo Rogue One, right? He had to outdo that, well, your heroes are going to die, but let's let them die happy.
Yeah.
Literally, he gets to go to straight heaven. He goes up into the air, finds his wife, and then finds peace forever. Like, dude.
The Nomad itself looks like an angel with the big wings. It looks like an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of imagery.
The effect, too, the lights reflecting on the water as it's seeking out its targets. Like,
oh, the targeting system? Oh, that's so fucked up. That's so creepy. Oh, Jesus.
It felt like Jaws. It was like, you know the things out there, but like you can't see it. All you can see is its effects.
Yeah, the oppression of the Americans over top of everything. Just you can't escape it anywhere.
Repainting all the natural beauty with unnatural neon light.
Yeah,
That perfect visual metaphor. Perfect visual metaphor.
Oh, fuck, this movie is good.
Oh yeah, so I was setting up kind of the plot there. Basically, once he gets they get attacked while he's undercover. His cover's broken. The movie skips 5 years later, where as we jump into the actual plot, where he is sent out to find Nirmata and his wife, who may now be alive. And he must kind of go out on a journey across New Asia to kind of find out what the AI plan is, and what he thinks is try to stop it, and what eventually becomes not only just survive, but actually turn against it. So like Jesse said at the beginning, you've seen this movie before. You've seen movies where we start off following what is technically one of the bad guys as they turn into one of the good guys.
Yeah, it's Avatar, it's Dancing with Wolves. You've seen this before.
Right. I think there's one scene that bugs me. If I had to have a gripe,
which one is it?
It's not. I wish there was more context. I think that's why it bugs me. There's a scene where a bunch of the AI cops get blown up, and it looks like a Star Wars scene where they're just kind of like walking around almost for laughs post explosion, like their bodies are blown up.
Yeah,
when
the dog dumps the grenade into the hole. Yeah. I'm making this there is just there for a laugh. It's just
the reason I have an issue with it is because the movie's position is that these are the good guys, right? These AI cops would technically be the good guys, even though they are trying to stop our heroes. And then it seems to lean into the idea that maybe you don't need to care about them. And I couldn't tell if it's we don't need to care because maybe they're not sentient, or if we don't need to care because they're cops. And if it's the second one, it's a great sequence and I love it. And if it's the first one, I don't get it. And I think it needed to be explained a little more.
I think it's because if they had captured him at that point, the movie ends. It's the one gimme moment in a script. Give me this one thing I can make the rest of it work.
And I'm fine with him killing them, even. I'm fine with the action. I think it's the execution of having a laugh there that I'm like, this is a very serious movie, and these are very serious deaths that you've kind of put on screen here. Why am I chuckling at this? It's a little tonal dissonance dropped, like a drop of it in the middle of the movie that made me go, okay, well, I'll settle back in. It pulled me out for a second.
Well, there's not much other scenes of comedy in the whole movie. It's a pretty not dry or dour movie, but it's serious. It's taking it very seriously. There's a few chuckles here and there. And I actually noted when I was watching it, because it has those titles that come up to separate the chapters of the film. The child, the mother. It's like, oh, it's Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. It's Mandalorian. Like that's how they introduce the episodes. Like the titles of the episodes are like the child, the Mandalorian, the whatever. It's the Mandalorian. It's a man and a child. That's what it is. It's the same general idea, just done in our world with a sci-fi twist. That's it.
I could have seen the Mandalorian paying off this way too. Again, this is just more evidence for my argument that every Disney Plus show should be a movie. But
yeah.
Again, imagine if Baby Yoda were in this plot. Are you kidding me? Star Wars would have been back. Star Wars would have brought theaters back. If Mandalorian would have been put out like this kind of movie, give it to Gareth Edwards with Dave Filoni writing and putting this kind of plot together, dog, it would have been fucking over. No, they had to make it a TV show.
I mean, it's a good TV show at least.
No, yeah, at least it's a good TV show.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, just overwhelming recommend.
Yeah.
No shot is ugly. I don't think I saw a single bad shot in the whole movie.
Maybe there's some that are a little on the dark side, a little bit like
little underlit. Yeah,
little underlit, but it's for the realism.
Sure.
Also, you said it was a small shooting crew, so I get it. There's not a lot of. You have to, if you want to get the lighting of the beach scene in the opening, you have to get all the generators out there. You got to set up the lighting. You have to get the power run. It's a massive undertaking. Yeah. And that shit costs money. Bigger the crew, more gear, harder it is to work with. It's bigger production. It's going to cost more money. So I get it. I'm okay with it being a little underlit. Sometimes it adds to the realism.
I watched with a subtitle device for my viewing. And that helps a lot, especially through the dark scenes, just to be able to follow the dialogue of the plot. That helped me a ton. So I was definitely going to be biased and a little less noticeable to that kind of stuff, because I am like switching between watching the screen and then watching the subtitles.
Mm-hmm. How do we feel about his friends that he said, yeah, don't go native on me, Josh, and then like 5 years later he has an Asian wife that's a sentient.
Right.
I love that.
Oh, dude! And I love like that existing as a example for our character to be like, yeah, change is possible, buddy. Like even the hard ass that assigned you out here, he changed, and that's like for a movie to be this serious, this dour, this even horrific at times, for its ultimate message to be like, no, people can change for the better, and it happens out of love.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite Interstellar, where it's landing on love is a formative template of the universe and outside of time.
Shut up, Nolan. You don't get it.
This is Gareth Edwards' 4th feature film.
Yeah.
And
he hasn't done much. It's impressive. You know,
I've got strong arguments for Godzilla being a good movie too. Like, I get that one, that and Star Wars are like a little IP goofiness, but Monsters, this feels like his Monsters follow up. This feels like his big budget swing at what he is able to do, because it's exactly the same kind of filmmaking.
Yeah. He's always kind of done this kind of style. Whenever he has to work with big IP stuff, he's kind of like hamstrung a little bit. You can kind of tell, like there. He just put out an article talking about recently the reshoot controversy of Rogue One, how they had to reshape the story. And it's like they did, because it's Star Wars and they're gonna do that. You know, I think Godzilla, he had mostly creative control on that. I've kind of soured on that movie recently because I'm not engaged with the characters at all.
Yeah, I think that's its biggest issue, and that's kind of the issue with like most Godzilla movies, right? Like,
yeah, well, you're not supposed to be engaged with the characters. Like, name one character outside of Godzilla in any of those movies.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Aaron Taylor Johnson was in that one. I remember. Bryan Cranston was in that one too, if I remember correctly.
He died after the first act, and it was a bullshit fucking death. He doesn't even die on screen. It's terrible.
Yeah. So like that even being his weakest, still has some of the best sequences from 2014. Like that Halo drop sequence. It's cool in Minority Report. It is fucking awesome in Godzilla. Yeah. Or not Minority Report, Mission Impossible.
Oh, yeah. There's good visuals in that movie, but I will say it just isn't emotionally satisfying to me. And I kind of feel a little bit about Rogue One as well. It doesn't really have as much emotional satisfaction, but I've warmed up to it.
Yeah, Rogue One is more forgivable for me because I think Star Wars is one-note characters. Like, for as much as like I could dick worship Thrawn and his writing, or Darth Vader and his writing, they are one-dimensional characters, and that's not an issue. Yeah. That's what Star Wars is.
They are evil, and that's really it.
And so I think here he kind of uses that big budget sci-fi one-dimensionality against us to give us really complicated characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even Alfie throughout is like swings between Baby Yoda and Akira, and it's like, dog, I don't know where this story's gonna end. Like, I really truly could not tell where Alfie was gonna end up by the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got some vibes of that iRobot movie a little bit. Unfortunately,
yeah, I could see that a hair for sure.
Like at the very end of the movie with the child standing on the mountain, like looking out over all the Scythians, having, the Nomad's been destroyed. It's the same general sequence, but instead of it pulling out to see like, oh, the robots are gonna maybe be peaceful or rise up or have their own sentience, but instead it just focuses on Alfie, and it's about her satisfaction of that what her father did would change the world for the better.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Ending on a close-up of a character in a sci-fi movie instead of focusing on bloated CGI bullshit. Better ending.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Her function within the plot even is just to keep Joshua moving forward and to learn how to love, right? Like, he treats her like a dog initially, like trying to get her into cars and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so funny to watch that like puppy to person development across their relationship.
Yeah. Oh man. It is it weird that Ken Watanabe's character is also the father of Nirmata, Gemma Chan's character, Maya, but also is meant to be the leader of the resistance, but is also like still survives at the very end of the movie, even after being shot in the chest because he's a sentient. Because he's a sentient, she's not. Is that weird?
Well, she's like a new thing, right? Like a combination of biological birth and android synthesis.
I don't know. The child is not. She's not. I don't think. As far as I remember, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think he's directly her father. I think he's like her father figure. I don't remember it being stated expressly that that's her father.
I thought that it was. Like I said, I was in a really, really shitty theater where people wouldn't shut the fuck up. So
yeah,
I may have missed some things.
Yeah, I think he's just supposed to be like he okay, yeah, he was the Nirmata stand-in to protect her identity.
Okay.
Like that was the assumption, but he was not her dad. They're just like they're friends because they had been working together. But he's a soldier. Like he's basically the Captain America to her Nick Fury. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But then the kid is definitely like the
like
kid,
a clone or a mechanical recreation of his child. Yeah.
Yeah, that part I didn't. What I pulled out of it was that Alfie's like some kind of both, and that's why it has like technopathy powers.
Yeah, they go into that a little bit, but they don't really delve into the science of it because it would just be too much to explain.
Yeah, and I think it's probably one of those like our biology allows for adaptations within the technology. I don't think it's as important to the story either. Like he's trying to set up the idea that we need to be like accepting of new people and
a lot of the science is just kind of like show don't tell. Like, you figure it out as you're going through the movie. Like
he's not about as worried. He's not as worried about like are humans and robots gonna fuck in the future. It's like it
doesn't matter.
Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, they hinted that in was it Solo, and it's like who cares,
right?
Who cares? It doesn't matter
if they're sentient and consenting adults. Let them. I don't care.
Yeah,
the movie's unconcerned with that, so I think that plot line ends up just kind of turning into she's just a special child, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah. What was his commander? What was it? Howell. Yeah, Allison Janney's character.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that scene where she's explaining that her son was violently killed by two simulants. It's like, oh, that's how somebody becomes racist. You know, it's like, but that never gives much context because also it's implied she may have lied about that because she lied about Maya being alive, so it may have just been bullshit.
Yeah, I don't believe anything she said. I don't believe any of it.
Nope.
Nope. Here's the
Once
thing.
again,
it is almost a hard and fast rule that as people move up through power, they are more likely to be sociopaths.
Yeah.
Now put that in a military context.
Always sociopaths.
Yeah, like that is not a person thinking and feeling. And that's kind of the position of the movie too, is like, oh yeah, there's a reason why the American army feels this way about these people. Yeah, I don't believe her story. I don't believe her story at all.
Yeah. Probably a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, there's also that line that Haron says when they're in the Buddhist temple. He says, "You know what will happen when this war finally ends? Nothing."
I love that.
Yeah,
it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's like we don't want to fight. Like we're not interested in fighting. We're fighting because you won't leave us alone.
Actually, I think the way he phrases it is, "Do you know what'll happen when we win this war?"
Yeah,
like
when we win this war.
He puts it in like a no uncertain terms. Like you guys can't win. You're not fighting for anything.
Yeah. When you have nothing to fight for, yeah. Which very much is like what happened with Iraq and Afghanistan. What were we fighting for?
Right.
Revenge, anger, just lashing out. And what happened? We lost.
So,
we lost.
Monsters got a maybe kind of politically awkward sequel. Do you see the creator getting a sequel as well?
No. I don't see it getting a sequel because, I mean, even Edwards has said that he has no plans for a sequel. And also, considering the fact that the movie financially failed at the box office, I don't see this doing very
Yeah, it looks like it may just make its budget back.
just a production budget, but marketing, it's still gonna be a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but straight up, this is going to be on my end of the year list. Oh my god.
Oh, same. Yeah.
I was not sure
is...
any sci-fi was going to make it to my end of the year list. It was going to be mostly like comedy, drama, and horror. And finally, someone has come out of the woods and said, no, I got you guys.
What other sci-fi shits come out this year?
Let's take a look back.
Yeah, let's take a look back. What else has come out this year that could be comparable to this?
Oh, comparable? Good luck.
Yeah, nothing.
All right,
matches this.
Here's your favorite, Quantum Mania.
Probably in my top 5 worst of the year.
There was.
I want to take a note. I want to note the score to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit! This is one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores. This is definitely one of my favorites. Like it's one of my favorite scores from Hans Zimmer, and he did the whole thing. Not like most times where it's like he'll do the first piece of music, and then somebody else comes in to finish the rest of it. No, he did the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is all him. This is one of my favorite scores of his.
All right.
Anyways,
so
continue.
In the sci-fi realm, here are my standouts as like good ones that I've seen so far. They Clone Tyrone and No One Will Save You. Those were both good. I don't know if they make my lists, but they were great.
I would classify No One Will Save You as a horror movie more than a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, for sure.
That's more of a horror.
Infinity Pool, it was cool, but not going to make my list.
It's good, but it's not great. It's fine. It's really just kind of the fucked up shit that Mia Goth does to Alexander Skarsgård.
Right. Across the Spider-Verse, I think that falls into this kind of sci-fi pot. It might make my list. I'm not sure yet. It's good. Like I don't think it was any worse than the first one, but like it doesn't have that cultural shelf behind it. Yeah. Guardians 3 was great. I think the creator's way more important. You know?
Yeah. Guardians 3 is wrapping up all the shit from the previous movies. It's a good final chapter to the Guardians universe.
Yeah, it's good, but it's like it's not going to make my list, you know.
Yeah.
That like I think Creator might be the only sci-fi movie making my list this year.
Wow, man, that's really bad. And it's also an incredibly important film because it's dealing with AI and how people sell off their likeness, in order to make money off of your appearance. And like we're dealing with a strike right now that's still going on. Writer strike has ended. They got what they wanted, and the SAG is still going on. Nothing's being shot right now. Things are being written. Nothing's being shot. So it's
topical.
It's very topical. Taking the context. Whenever you're doing sci-fi stories, you're not talking about the future. You're talking about the time you're living in right now. And this is, I don't know if this was like a wild coincidence or they knew this was going to happen, but it's maybe it's, you know what it is? This is probably bullshit that Edwards got flack for Rogue One, putting Tarkin into the movie, using someone's likeness and putting it on somebody else.
Yeah.
This is his apology for that.
Yeah, I'm curious how much of that was a Disney choice and how much of that was him.
Yeah, I don't know why they put Tarkin in the movie. You don't need him. Just make what's Ben Mendelsohn. Just have him be the main villain. You don't need Tarkin in the movie at all.
Oh my god, dude! Like,
just have it be that he's in charge of the station, and then when he dies, Tarkin then gets brought in off screen. Done. I fixed your problem. Like that's it.
I think back then they were scared that they couldn't get away with movies and shows without legacy characters, and Ahsoka's proved that that's not the case. You can give us. Dude, people jumped into Ahsoka without watching anything and loved it.
Yeah. You don't need anything else.
you don't need all that. You need good characters, not IP characters.
Yeah. And like Tarkin's in the one movie and then he's in some episodes of Clone Wars. Who cares?
Right. They could have introduced Thrawn at that point. Like young Thrawn. No problem.
Sure.
Oh,
Too late now.
Too late now. Yeah, I think that's most of my thoughts. I'm sitting over here in love with the fact that I got to go see a sci-fi movie and I didn't have to sit there and be critical about it. Like I got to just run along with the story and it gave me everything that I would want out of that kind of story.
Yeah, it's successful on all fronts. I just wish it made money. That's the thing that sucks because it's been pretty much a trash fire year for people going to the movies. We've had some good films come out, but studios are like, why is no one going to the movies? What are we doing wrong? Well, it's the government that's doing everything wrong. The banks are gouging people. It's like everyone's broke. To go to the movies is an elitist pursuit now. Costs too much. You know, and if you're going to go to the theater and it's going to be an experience like I had, it's going to scare you away from going to the theaters.
Dude, right? Yeah.
I'd rather pay the extra money to watch it in the comfort of my own home. Apparently, this is going to hit streaming next month.
Wow.
So I'm just going to pay money to watch it again in my own house so I can just not have to deal with a bullshit crowd at a theater.
Right. You can brighten up the screen. You can turn on subtitles. You can pause it. Like,
I can pause it. I can take a bathroom break. I'd rather just watch it in the comfort of my own home and pay a little extra money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
We need to find a way to revitalize theaters. It's got to be the new.
You revitalize the population. You make people happy again. You stop price gouging them. You stop forcing people into debt. Going to the movies is expendable income.
Yeah.
Nobody has expendable income anymore.
Makes sense.
That's what it is. Like when everybody's pissed off, miserable, depressed, why would you want to go see a movie that's also about kind of being pissed off, miserable, and depressed?
Yeah, I'd say this sits more in my cathartic area where like it is hard to watch, but it is to pay off ideas that I truly believe in, you know, like that makes it worthwhile. This is one that I'll pop on probably once a year just to be like, God damn, I can't believe they did this. This is awesome.
Yeah. Genuinely well-made movie. I would say if you're brave enough, go to a theater.
Go see a matinee.
Go see a matinee. Yeah, go where people don't show up. Go on your lunch break and just say you got stuck in traffic getting back to the office or something.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, do that. Or pay the extra money. I think it's like $20 when it hits streaming next month. Pay the $20 next month.
Right.
Try to get this movie to make some money. Yeah, get this movie to make some money. I know it's not going to make like 500 million, but at least get it to break even.
Right. Yeah, I don't like to give numbered scores to movies, but this is definitely it is worth the $20 rental when it comes out. If you're a patient person, go ahead and wait because I know this will be streaming everywhere eventually. Like sci-fi like this just gets so spread out. But you know, if this sounds like your kind of thing, it's worth the $20. But you won't regret a $20 stream purchase.
It also, in a lot of ways, hurts studio belief in original IP now. Again, another, like, anytime we say, why is no original IP? Why is no original? Like, this is why. Like, people aren't going to see these things because they just want this legacy shit. And when you have a great film like this that comes out, that is original IP, unique ideas, beautiful visuals, and no one goes to see it, and it's topical, and no one goes to see it, then they'll be like, oh, we're not going to do any of that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Any of it. Even with as cheap as it is, they'd rather dump more money into legacy shit on the gamble it pays off.
Right.
Than try to do this shit again. This only cost $80 million. Adjusted for inflation, that's not a lot.
On the gamble that it'll even come half as close to being as poignant too. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. This movie has a purpose. Like Indiana Jones 5 had no purpose.
Right.
And that movie failed financially, didn't get the greatest reviews, and it's on Film Rescue Season 10. There you go.
Poor James Mangold. I thought we would keep him off the show, but
sorry, buddy.
We tried. Well, I think that's all my thoughts. I'm ready to wrap up if you are.
I'm all done. That's it.
Well, that was our review of The Creator. Just nothing but yeses. Yes across. Yes.
Yes, finally.
I feel like Shorzy. Just do you ever go see a movie that makes you go, wow? Wow. Gee whiz. That's me watching The Creator. I think that's going to do it for this one. This was just kind of an impromptu episode. Thanks for checking this one out. That'll do it for me. Thanks for being here, Jesse.
Thank you. Glad to talk about this. I got out of the theater. I was like, we have to talk about this now.
No, literally. Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours after the podcast, I get a text and he was like, I just saw The Creator. We got to talk about it. I was like, oh my God, dude. If I'd have known, I wouldn't have even left my house. But we got it. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening and good night.
Good night.